We have lots of videos comparing Medicare Advantage versus Medicare Supplement, how to actually compare Advantage plans within themselves, or even Medigap plans, the N and G plan. But let's go back to the very first question of why do we want to look at any of that at all? Why not just have traditional Medicare by itself? That's really the first question we want to tackle. Let's go back to Medicare just by itself, traditional Medicare, without an Advantage, without a supplement, or even a Part D plan. Medicare itself is actually pretty easy. It's broken up into two sections. You have Part A for hospital, and then you have Part B for doctors, essentially. So you have two parts, A and B. They each have a deductible you have to pay up to first before you start getting help. And then once those deductibles are met, you start paying 20% of the charges. Medicare is picking up 80% of the charges. That is the core of what Medicare is right there. There's some little weird add-ons here and there, but really it's Part A and B, facility versus doctor, and then you have the 80-20 split afterwards. The issue is that 80-20 in our books, and let's understand why. The real risk to having Medicare by itself is that 20% coinsurance because there's no cap for it. It goes on indefinitely. I'll give you an example, and unfortunately we get more and more of these examples since 2020. We had a client who had open heart surgery just out of nowhere, and it was $250,000 for every hour his heart was offline while they were operating. The total bill was $5 million. And you may think, oh, well, that's kind of crazy. That's an exaggerated cost. We see $500,000 bills all the time now. Anything in a hospital is going to explode higher, $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 plus, even for a simple overnight. So on that $5 million bill, if you only had Medicare, you're on the hook for $1 million. There's just no way to address that. It makes no sense to take on that risk, especially if we're 65 and older. The chances of us having more expensive healthcare costs just explode higher. It makes zero sense. That's why either a supplement, which is more expensive but covers more, or an Advantage plan, which is cheaper but it caps that exposure on the 20% at a certain amount, even under $1,000 in some case. You want that to protect from the 20%. I'm healthy, there's no problems, I never go to the doctor. Do not think that way when you're looking at risk of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that you can cap for maybe no cost or low cost. And that's why we go into the Medicare Advantage versus supplements, because that's really the first question on how to address this risk.